Hello, everybody. This is Robin Leslie with onlytheinspired.com doing day 23 a little bit early. So it will go live tomorrow as planned, but we had a jump on here early today. And so I have two incredible interviews today with two amazing coaches and just a variety of the coaching on here and the niches and what the coaches help people with. I absolutely love. We just talked to Laura Scotti, and she's doing publishing. She's got a media company and business coaching. Then we had Caleb Kid Coy, who's talking about leaving your legacy, right, with estate planning and all of the medical documents that you need to set your family up. And then right now we have Kay Garrett, and she's talking about how to become the parent that you want your kids to have, and how she realized at one point that she wasn't being that to her kids. And so I absolutely love what she's doing. When I initially started my coaching business, it was called Raising Greatness Coaching, because kids, they really need that support. And so to raise great kids, you actually have to deal with your own stuff too. So you have to raise your own greatness to then become a great parent. And so I love that. And then we have Dina Legland today after Kay Garrett. And she's what a valuable gift that she's giving people. So she has been a nurse for 30 years, and she has gone through cancer herself. So she is actually a coach that will help you go through that process, because unless you've actually had cancer yourself, you don't know the amount of fears that come into your brain, or the effects that the chemo and the surgeries and all that take a toll on you. And so she is there to help you through that process. And I can't think of a more valuable person to help you through the scariest time of your life. So I'm super excited about these two interviews. So I am going to bring up Miss Kay Garrett. How are you doing, beautiful?
I'm doing great. Doing great. Yourself?
I'm awesome. I am super excited about your interview. So it's been 3 months and 1 day since we filmed it. Wow. So I'm interested to see your reaction after seeing it. So some coaches is like, it's so weird to watch me, or I agreed with everything that I said, or yeah. So and then sometimes it's a blossoming that's happened in the last 3 months. So I'm very curious to see.
Me too.
Yeah. So you were one of the first ones that I actually interviewed. So I'm very excited about that. So do you want to share anything before we play your interview?
You know what? I would love to just see what's happening in the interview. Like you said, back then, 3 months ago, a lot has happened between then and now. And so I'd love to watch the interview and then catch any questions on the other side and feedback.
Okay. So for anybody watching, if you're going to watch anyway, start a watch party. Expand the reach of these interviews, and it expands the inspiration and the help that people, the messages that the coaches have. So let's start a watch party, invite people to the interviews, because they're really, really impactful. And then, so we're going to play the interview. If you have any questions, please put them in the chat, and then Kay, she will answer those when we come back. And so we will see you here shortly. We're going to play the interview. Go ahead and mute your microphone, and we will see you in just a little bit.
Sounds good.
Okay. This is Robin Leslie. I'm with onlytheinspire.com and here to do another amazing interview. I have Miss Mary Kay Garrett with me today, and she's a conscious parenting coach, and there's so many of us, me included, that could use a little help in the parenting aspect because, you know, we say there's no book on it. There's lots of books on it, but each kid's individual, and she's going to help us become the parent that we wish we could be, basically, instead of just going through the motions. So, and I will have her explain a lot more. So, in a couple of minutes, Miss Mary, do you go by Mary or Mary Kay?
Mary Kay, like the cosmetics.
Like the cosmetics. It'd be nice. Yeah, that's my side.
Yep. Years ago, I had people believing I was her. It was pretty humorous. Play with that.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Why not? So, in a couple of minutes, describe who you are and how you help people.
So, like you said, Mary Kay Garrett. I live in Phoenix, Arizona. Been here 30 years, but I'm a Chicago native. Escaped the cold. Have 3 kids, and have worked in corporate and throughout the years into coaching the last 13 years. And like you said, I work with parents. I put them through a 6-month or year-long program, and it is how to become the person they want raising their kids. And so how that came about was I found myself back in 2004 on vacation, just raging at my kids, stressed out. We were on vacation. It's like, why is this stressful? Why am I so, you know, everything they do is triggering me, and I was just raging at them. And I realized in that moment that I hated the person who was raising my kids, and that person was me. And it was a shock. And I was on a beach vacation, which was really cool because I actually went down to the sand, drew a line in that sand, and I said, this person will no longer be raising my kids. I stepped across that line, and that's when my journey began. So I spent 6 years in a personal development journey before I became a coach, decided I wanted to add that next piece to the puzzle and become a coach so that I could be out there helping people transform. I did spend a lot of time working with executives, and I found we were doing a lot of personal and a lot of family things. So it was just a very organic change into working with parents.
Nice. Well, yeah, and we all need a little help, like I said. So you went from a totally different career into doing this.
Yes.
What were you doing with executives?
Well, I was a coach with executives. I was coaching executives. So I've been coaching for 12 years, but in the background I've been in network marketing. I was successful in that. I was a business analyst. So IT, I'm a geek. I love technology. So I've had a little bit of everything, but it's always the one thing that's been there as I look back at my IT background, it's always getting to the root of the problem. Even when I was in IT, I loved that challenge of having this big, huge problem in front of me, and how are we going to step by step work through that and come up with this amazing solution and get things running again. And coaching really honestly is no different. Whether I'm working with an executive who's stressed out and not getting along with their team, or now a parent who is always stressed out and yelling at their kids.
Yeah, and I've been there. And I remember a certain time in my life, I was super duper duper stressed out and just screaming at my 3-year-old because, you know, she's a toddler, and, you know, they test you, and it's like, what am I doing? It had nothing to do with my stress and anxiety, and I found myself screaming at her, and she would just trigger me, and it wasn't her fault, and I didn't want to be that person at all. I'm not that person, and it was weird that I would do that with her. And so I've been there.
Yep. And the key is backing it up and figuring out what is that stress? Why are you so stressed that whatever they're doing is causing you to have that trigger and blow up? Because it has nothing to do with them half the time when we're getting triggered, and when it's just the other things that pile up in our life that we react to rather than respond. And so it's really learning how to manage that stress that becomes really important so that it isn't taken out on our kids.
Right, and we don't want to damage them, and we don't want them to repeat our habits either, because it's generational.
Exactly.
Yes, yes. So describe your ultimate vision for your business.
So my vision, it's really to teach parents to get out there and make it a movement of teaching parents how to raise confident, compassionate kids. It's getting rid of our baggage so that as a role model, we don't pass that baggage on to them. I came from that seen but not heard generation where I was raised in that, that we treated kids that way. Well, kids, we can learn so much from them, and with them. They're our teachers, we're theirs. And so create that environment, because they are growing up into adults. And do we want them to be dysfunctional adults, or do we want them to be confident and compassionate, which is really needed in the world today? So that really is my vision, is to get out there and help as many parents help their kids, as well as the benefits to themselves of having that life of joy.
Right, where they can enjoy their kids and themselves. So what beliefs do you have that sets you apart from your competition?
So basically,
collaboration, not competition. And so we all have our own things. I'm just curious if there's one thing that stands out.
You know what? One of the things that really has helped me is I have actually gone through and walked the talk. And I have learned it. I went through the personal development piece myself. I then went through a coaching program. So I learned both sides of it. And I have spent the last 10 years, when I went through the coaching program, my kids were all teenagers. So I have had the ups and the downs. I've had to, we went through foreclosure, which is a whole nother story, but we did that. We came up rising. My kids told me during that time it was the best Christmas they ever had, because all the material stuff was gone. It was family. I had to kick a daughter out of the house because of her behavior. So I had those boundaries. They knew they had freedom, but if they crossed that line, they were in trouble. So they learned. I gave them that freedom, but I've walked through that. I had and I'll go into that story a little bit later, but I had another daughter deal with a lot of depression. I've had all the ups and downs, and I have seen by this process, I've seen the outcome. My kids are in their 20s now, and they now write me letters and tell me how incredible and how lucky they are to have me as a parent, and how they were the ones that encouraged me to go out and start parent coaching, because they wanted, and their friends wanted, other kids to be raised by parents like I had done. So I have this cool coaching process, as well as, I've walked the talk.
If that's not the best testimonial ever, huh?
Yeah.
Your own kids. Yeah, the exact result of what you've done. That's amazing. So what's the hardest thing to overcome when starting your business or running your business?
The hardest thing to overcome was the prioritizing my kids. And when they needed me, or when there was something going on, choosing business over kids, kids over business, and being able to decipher, is it something that I really need to be there for? Am I being, too much of, on top of them mom, or am I, is it time for me to go work my business? So I found myself over the last couple of years where I've really kind of been pushing out that fear of starting your business. Hanging with my kids was a safe place to be. And working with them and staying in that in the development with them. So really saying, okay, now this is my time to do this, and prioritizing, this is business time. You guys are doing great yourself. You're off on your own. I'm going to work on my business.
Yeah, and help the other parents. I love that. So curious, Mara, it sounds like you have this support network of friends and family versus, this is something that you're doing all on your own where nobody's really supporting you in this journey.
That is one thing that I've always been very good at, is getting, it really has become a tribe. They, with other coaches that have, I have given my kids places to go to, other coaches that they can go to if I'm not the person they want to talk to. I have also, if I need somebody, I have an accountability partner. We have been accountability partners on a weekly basis since 2012.
Yay.
And so most of my business decisions, if I have a big business decision, I will run things by her. But even with the parenting, it's like, okay, which hat do I put on, parent or coach? And talk me down off this wall, this ledge so I have always had a very strong support system. I've always used it. I think it's very, very important that we all do.
Good. Oh, I do too. And, some of us, and the reason why I asked that question is some of us don't have any support whatsoever. And so that's why I asked, because there's a lot of them that is like, I'm doing it anyways. Nobody's supporting me, but I feel like it's something I have to do. And so, so it's just a question that I ask everybody because it's important, and you don't have to get that support from your family. If you can have that accountability, you can create your own support.
Exactly.
A lot of people that don't naturally have that, like in their household. So what is your favorite thing about your business?
My favorite, it's almost like I feel like it's a best kept secret, the process, the transformation that I take people through. I absolutely, and it sounds kind of cliche, I love watching my clients go through that transformation and watching their courage and their strength as they start seeing the results with themselves and with their families, with their kids, even with their spouses or parents. It's just really extraordinary. I had one client that was having constant panic attacks, and he had seen a therapist, and within a couple months, he was completely out of those. And really all it was building confidence in him, letting him know, for slowing down and believing in himself would make a huge difference. I mean, some of the time, the simplest things can really make a huge change in people. And I feel so privileged to be able to be part of that journey with people.
Yeah, and you're helping not just them, but their circle. It's a butterfly effect.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Yay. So what inspires you and what are you passionate about?
What inspires me? Let me see. I wrote this down so I'd remember. I am passionate about looking at other perspectives, what makes people tick. No matter in this whole environment, even why do people make the decision they want to make? Understanding it takes you to a place, or takes me to a place of more compassion, of really understanding why somebody is the way they are. What event or what in their life created the perspective that they have. And I think it's just really fun to learn that about people. And it gives, it brings you to a place for me, of compassion. When I can think of it that way. What really inspires me is some of the stories that are going on, especially now, of these heroes that are helping, that are stepping out and being courageous and kind of going against the mainstream to help other people. I always love a good story like that.
Oh, yeah. Well, in perspective, it gives you that heartfelt understanding, even if it's your kids. Okay, so I see things from my point of view. Now put yourself in their shoes. Okay, what are they thinking from their age, from their perspective? And I use that a lot in relationship coaching. But yeah, with kids, you have to. And they're a whole different generation, and times are different. We didn't have Facebook and Instagram and all that kind of stuff when we were young. So they grew up in a completely different time.
Yeah.
And then you have, the perspective of, you're seen, not heard. And so, to see how things change. I love that. Yeah. And so who inspires you?
I have one person, and I hope I don't start crying, because it's my youngest daughter. She's 23 now. My youngest daughter, Bailey, inspires me every day. She is an angel. She really is a gift from God. And she went through an experience about a year and a half ago where her best friend died by suicide 5 days before Christmas. And this is my daughter, who was also had a lot of challenges with depression. And last year, walking through that journey with her of depression and suicide, possible suicide, what was so amazing is the whole time we had built such a great relationship that she was very honest on where she was and what her emotions were. She knew that she didn't have to hide them, and that she wouldn't be judged. She would just be thought of where she is. But here I am, this mom, and I'm also this coach, and I can't even help my own daughter. It was one of the most just excruciating places to be. I did find her an amazing therapist to work with. I do believe that, I can't solve everything, and that there are times to really step out and find the help. But I was in this one moment with her where I'm like, what can I do? I was in a desperate place. I'm like, what can I do to help you? And she turns around to me in her grief, and she said to me, she goes, Mom, this is not about you. And it's like, to have your child say that when it is a life or death situation is extraordinary. To have to let them go and let them be who they are and be there as support, but not have any control of the outcome, was, to me, the ultimate in trust. And a year later, she is absolutely doing amazing every step of the way. Watching her courage and watch her come through this, she inspires me every day.
That is amazing. That's amazing. So, if you could leave one tip or one golden nugget for people listening, and it's the only thing you could say and the only time you get to say it, what would it be?
As a mom, we always want the best for our kids. And what does that, when it really gets down to it, what is that? And what are we willing to do to give our kids the best? And that is the decision that I made 16 years ago, when I walked across that line and said that the person that was raising my kids, that I would no longer tolerate that person. And I went on my own journey. And every step of the way, we had the ups, we had downs, we lost everything. We've gone through, like I said, depression. I wouldn't change one thing, and it made it all worth it. The outcome has made the whole thing worth it, the journey. And I would really take a look at yourself, and how can you be that best role model for your kids?
Great. Awesome. So, is there anything else you would like to say? I know that you are offering a complimentary 20-minute coaching session with everybody. Is there anything else that you would like to share?
Not that I would love to talk to people, and if you've got, any challenges that I can support you with, if you'd like to try it out and see, do a 20-minute complimentary, I'd love to do that. I have a Facebook page, Rise Up Parents, that I'm also helping parents on. So if there's any way I can support you, I would love to.
Okay, and then so where would they go? How would they connect with you to get the 20-minute coaching session?
It is on my website, riseupparents.com. And
Okay.
on that front page, there is a place to put your name and email information for the complimentary session. Put that in, and I will email you a link to my calendar so you can choose a time that works for both of us for that session. And
So that's Rise Up Parents, plural?
yes.
Okay, .com. Very cool. Very cool. I think the work that you're doing is amazing. Yeah, I was a single mom for 12 years, and trust me, I question myself on a daily basis. And sometimes I wasn't that parent that should be raising my child. And I think we all could use a little help because, again, it's not just your kids, it's your kids' kids, and on and on. And that is definitely a generational thing. And you want to be that role model for generations to come and build help create those amazing kids that are open and honest and confident.
And it just snowballs. They have the relationships they have, the friends they have, the significant others that they have. It just goes, it just snowballs the process. So it really you can really change lives. Every parent can change the trajectory of their kids' lives.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so very much for being here, Mary Kay. I appreciate you, and I hope that people go to your site, riseupparents.com, and get that 20-minute. It's free. It doesn't hurt anything, just if you're struggling with parenting or you're struggling with your situation, just, have that 20-minute session with her and, get the guidance from somebody who's been there and done that and done the research and helps lots of other people do that. So thank you very much. I really, really appreciate you being here.
Thank you, Robin. I appreciate being here and you taking the time to talk with me today.
Hello.
So what was that like?
You there? You know what? It was validating. It wasn't far off from where I am now. It's I think it's who I am. What we shared, and I figured out how to do online or the video chats a little bit, but the videos a little bit better. But because I've done 1,000 of them over the last 3 months, but
Which is awesome, yay!
But other than that, I think my message was strong, and it's still my message that becoming the person you want raising your kids can have changes for generations for your family, and I thought it was great.
Well, that's just a perfect statement. Become the person that you want raising your kids. And, nobody's perfect and we struggle and you get tested. But yeah, being aware is like, I am impacting my kids. Yeah. So we have Miss Dina here. I'll bring her up and we'll talk to you still for a few minutes. Hello, Miss Dina. I'm good.
Hello.
And so for everybody, we are changing the link to get the complimentary coaching session from Mary Kay. So we're going to go to mkg hyphen coaching.com, and I will put that under the announcements tab, under the giveaways tab. And so all of the coaches are going to be available in the group. You could click on their name and instantly send them a message, but make sure that you take advantage of these complimentary consultations. And so I will have the right link in the Facebook group. So make sure you find that. So
And
I absolutely love what you're doing.
thank you. And
Yay.
both links will work. I have kept the other one because I knew we used it for this interview back in May. So I have kept that that live. I will phase it out eventually. So either will work. They won't get lost if they go to the other one.
Right.
Oh,
So,
okay, perfect. That makes it
yeah.
easier. Very cool. Very cool. All right. So
I'm
how are
doing
you
great
doing, Miss
today.
Dina?
Thank you for asking.
You're welcome. So she's got the New York accent. I love the New York accent.
I actually got a Long Island accent.
Yeah. And I was hatched in New York, but I only lived there for my first month, so I don't I don't have any accent from there. I think more Midwestern accent is what I have. But yeah. But thank you, Miss Mary Kay. I'm gonna bring up Miss Dina. We're gonna do her interview. If you want to hang out, I could bring you up after we do Q&A with Dina. If anybody has questions for Mary Kay, please put them in the chat. And she could always go back and answer those, or just connect with her in the Facebook group. And make sure you go under the announcements tab. The guy's swinging his jacket, I think, and it says giveaways. So that's where all of the coaches giveaways will be. So
all right, I will catch everybody in the Facebook group then.
okay, awesome.
All
Have
right.
an amazing day. It was wonderful to have you here, and thanks for working with me with
so
the
much,
schedule.
Robin. It's been great.
You're welcome.
Bye, Dina.
Bye-bye, Mary Kay.
All right. How you doing, beautiful?
Good. I'm doing great.
Yeah. So how is everything in New York these days?
We are still kind of, you have to wear your mask, no matter where you go. We have indoor dining, outdoor dining. The gyms are supposed to finally open up this coming week. So we'll see. It's been crazy.
Yeah, but a lot better than what it was. You guys were in the hot spot for
the longest
weeks.
time.
Yes. Scary, like almost overflowing the hospital. So thank goodness everything is settling down a little bit. Yay.
Yes. It has totally calmed down quite well. They did a good job. I have to admit, I think they did a good job, but it's crazy because now there's other hot spots in other states. So they let people go out and amongst each other's too fast, and look what happened. They had to close down. So it's going to be, I feel it's going to be a little crazier when the flu season starts.
Just to combine the two, the flu season and COVID, because for one, you're not going to know which one you have.
Right.
Because you have the fever and feeling like crap on both of them.
Yes. So it's going to be interesting.
Yeah, and hopefully we'll get this under control here pretty soon, because we're all missing each other. We're all missing, our normal lives. And, the business owners out there are just praying to get open as quickly as possible. It's tough times, but beautiful times at the same time, if we can look at it that way. So I am very excited about your interview. So we recorded this June 30th. So it's almost been 2 months. Yay. So what have you been doing in the last 2 months? Just crazy busy?
Yeah. I mean, I work for a wellness center 1.5 days a week. And now I got offered to work for another wellness center, but virtually from Vermont. This chiropractor is closing his chiropractic business and opening up a wellness center. And he knows the chiropractor that I work for now. And they started talking, and he said, I got the perfect person for you. And he's like, do you do this virtually? I'm like, of course I do it virtually. So we're going to be starting up after sometime in September. We don't really know exactly when, but I will be doing that. And I am just getting the word out to all oncology offices, any radiology offices. I'm doing a lot of networking virtually. So I've been getting a lot of people that I'm like, I have a referral for you. I have a referral for you. So it's been great. It really has been a lot of fun.
Well, you have a very, very unique niche. And obviously, unless you've been in your position, you can't really coach people on that situation. And so we're going to talk a little bit more about that and what a story you have. You know, you've been through lots of things.
Yes.
And I think what you're doing is absolutely beautiful because you help people through their scariest times of their lives because you've been there.
Yes.
And look at you on the other side, kicking ass.
Yep.
Yay.
But the bottom line is the fear is still always there.
Mm-hmm.
And it's how you really learn to accept it and learn what's the positive out of it as far as your mindset. And I honestly believe that your mind and having a positive attitude can get you through almost anything.
Right.
Not just an illness like that I had or other women are going through.
Right. And the mind is very powerful. If you believe that you're defeated, then most likely you're going to be defeated. So anything, if you could conceive it and believe it, you can achieve it. So, you know, and so So I think mindset is huge. And I love that you're helping people with that. Do you want to share anything before we watch your video and then we'll bring you back up for questions?
No, not really. Unless there's something specific you want me to share. You have a question?
No. And so we're going to play Dina's video. And so, you know, it's a very personal story for her. She's overcame cancer and she's lost 110 pounds, but she is really there for people who are going through that cancer process right now because she's been there and she knows what those fears are. And unless you've been in those shoes, unless you've actually, you know, heard the doctor say you have cancer, I can't fathom the fear that somebody would go through. Yeah. And so I absolutely love that she helps people through that most scary time in their lives. And so yay, bravo to you. So we are going to play the video. If you have any questions, put them in the chat. And then we're going to answer questions when we come back. And we'll go from there. So I am going to share the video. Will you please mute your microphone? And then we'll bring you back up when we're done. Okay, awesome. This is Robin Leslie with onlytheinspired.com, and I'm here doing another amazing interview with the beautiful Dina Legland, and she has quite the story, multiple stories, so I'm very excited for you to get to know her. So in a couple of minutes, Dina, describe who you are and how you help people.
Okay. Thank you for having me, Robin.
Yeah, you're welcome.
It's an honor. It is truly an honor. You know, when you hear that voice on the other end of the phone say to you, where are you? Or are you sitting down? And that fear just takes over you. And it's your doctor. And the doctor says that you have a fatal disease. I know it all too well. And I actually teach women the strategy to conquer the three main keys, the three main fears that they really truly embrace during that moment. It is just so devastating to hear the words, you have cancer. I'm a breast cancer survivor, and that was one of the things that I had to embrace and learn what to do in order to survive at that point. And the three key fears that I teach women about is the fear of that phone call and the fear of telling everyone that they have this disease. The fear of everything they have to endure from the time they get that phone call through the treatment process and when the doctor says you're in remission. And the fear that keeps them up at night once they're in remission and they say to themselves, oh my gosh, I hope I never get that phone call again that it is bad. So with the strategy that I learned, I teach women how to do that. And it's an honor to work with these women.
Yeah, I couldn't imagine. I've never been there. I couldn't imagine. And yeah, and I love your New York accent, by the way.
Thank you.
So how did you get started? Obviously you had that event, but what was it that made you want to help others go through this process? And you have quite a huge story, and you've also lost, what, 110 pounds also?
Yes, I was going to get into that too.
Yeah, so tell us, bring it, sister.
Yes. So just to back up a little bit, I am a certified transformational life and wellness coach, and I am a wellness warrior for life. And that is the name of my business. And the reason I named it that is because back in 2010, I lost over 110 pounds, got to be the healthiest I could ever be. And then 6 years later, that I got that phone call that I had an aggressive form of breast cancer. And being a nurse for 30 years, yes, I coach. I coach patients, their family members, my staff, everybody you come in contact with when you're a nurse, you're really coaching them. And because of the two life-altering experiences I went through, I really truly found myself wanting to really help others. And I just said to myself, yes, nursing was a wonderful career, but something was burning inside of me that said, you need to take this further, Dina. You really do. And a lot of my clients, a lot of my patients have said to me, you're an open book. You tell everybody your life story. You're not afraid of anything. Little do they know that I was, but you are that warrior. And they make me feel pretty good. They kind of named me the inner warrior coach.
And that's a great title.
Yes. Yeah.
That's a great title. And I have found it's very freeing when you could say your story and you don't have to hide things. It's very freeing to be open about stuff because you're going to connect with people.
Right.
So describe your ultimate vision for your business.
Oh, my ultimate vision. As you can see, the grin is on my face.
Mm-hmm.
I would love, and I have to say this because it's not just women. Yes, my target audience is women that have breast cancer, but I can help any woman with any type of cancer. And believe it or not, I've had gentlemen come to me about other types of cancers. And the reason for that is because the fear is still the same.
Absolutely.
You have to learn how to embrace it. You have to learn how to accept it. You have to learn how to maneuver it in such a way that it helps you and it gives you a positive mindset, because that is key. Your mind plays a big part in surviving and then ultimately thriving.
Mm-hmm.
So my vision is to be able to help anybody, no matter who they are, with a fatal disease globally. All right. Yes, I can help people in my community, my backyard. Absolutely, I have. I'm starting to venture out into the United States, across it.
Mhm.
But I've actually gotten contact with people from Australia, New Zealand, Canada. So there's no discrimination, unfortunately, with cancer. There is none whatsoever. Okay. And I am just so thrilled. And this might sound a little crazy to some people when I say this. I'm actually very thrilled that I went through that experience so that I can help others and be in service to them.
Well, your message, and it was probably the most painful thing you've ever been through. And to be able to help people in that scariest time of their life, it's a blessing for that to happen. And you'd never be able to do that if you didn't go through that, because you wouldn't understand it.
Right.
Yeah.
It's true. So true.
That's awesome. So, and I don't know how many people do what you do, but what beliefs do you have that set you apart from your competition, from other wellness coaches or whatever? What do you think that is?
My belief is that when you embrace fear, it actually connects to all aspects of your life, all the areas in your life. And once you realize that, you can conquer it. My programs are multi-level. And what I do is I actually walk you through how to battle that fear. Because fear, for example, plays a big part in your immune system or on your immune system. So, which is very important to stay healthy.
Mm-hmm.
And it's even more important when you become ill with a disease, because that's one of the first things that gets affected by all the medications you might be on, And another thing is that it's the fear of these diseases being inherited. Here I thought I was doing everything correctly, all right? And yes, I got healthy, but unfortunately I got breast cancer. Is it inherited in my family? It's on my father's side, which is very unusual because it's usually on the female side, your mom's side. But there were other factors, okay? I mean, the fear of getting other kinds of diseases. I had a grandmother who passed away of colon cancer. Come to realize when I got diagnosed with breast cancer, that colon cancer, there's a correlation. So do I still fear? Yes, I still have fears. And that's what I really want people to understand, is that the fear really never goes away, but it's how we really deal with it and how we say to ourselves, we got this and we can do it. And I go through this with all the different levels of my programs. And I feel that's very important to be able to explain to somebody that is going through this process that you're going down the path of survival, all right? And you're in treatment and you're going through the steps that you have to go through. So you're like tunnel vision. But there is so much more to this that people don't realize. And it's those fears that keep you up at night. And it's an amazing program. It's just, I feel that because I walked in those shoes, I can help you find the right path so you have a positive outlook and be able to embrace that fear.
Absolutely. Well, and something you said, you're talking about survival. So we all have fears about lots of things. And
Exactly.
one out of every 3 gets cancer of some sort. And, it takes a whole different shift in your life when it's, okay, now I have to focus on living, like physically living instead of, emotionally living. And you can let the fear consume you and halt you, or you could try and let it energize you and keep you focused. And I love that you're doing that. So many people need that, and it's a super scary time. And to have somebody who has a nursing background, for one, who has been through the same thing, to be able to help them through that. I think that's beautiful.
Thank you. Thank you.
So what was the hardest thing to overcome when starting your business?
Oh, actually, besides technology, which is one of my biggest downfalls, is because in nursing back in the day, we hand wrote our notes and we never made full sentences, right? And then now with nursing, everything is just click of buttons and they're checkoffs. But the biggest, and I mean the biggest thing that I had to overcome starting my business was reliving my breast cancer journey.
Mm. Mm-hmm.
And the reason I say that, Robin, is because as a woman and as a mom and a wife and a nurse and everything that I was doing, you're in that mode of you just keep going, like on the treadmill, right? And when I was diagnosed, I was working full time. And the thing that I had to do was I actually pushed it all aside. I got through it, did what I needed to do, listened to the doctors, found my strategy to get me through my fears. And when it was now in remission, it's like, I could breathe somewhat, all right? But I never truly dealt with it, if that makes any sense. So I'm kind of like re-healing myself when I decided to start this business. And that's another thing that I would love and be honored to help women with, is to find themselves again.
Mm-hmm.
There's a new norm, is what we call it. It's, after cancer, and we're not the same, but how do we live to thrive? Because life is not over, by all means. It's not. It's just a different way of looking at things, and you're different physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. You're different, but you end up being really true to yourself because you come first now.
And in a way, it can be a wake-up call. And so some of us don't get that actual smack in the face, wow, such a big meaning or scare, right? But when you have actually been through that, it's like, okay, what's really important? And so I think, that could be it could be a gift if you could look at it that way. It could be a gift that it happened, because then you look at things from a whole different perspective.
Exactly.
So this next question, I ask everybody, so do you have the support network of friends and family encouraging you to do this, or is this something you feel compelled to do and you're doing it no matter what anybody else thinks? Because you went from nursing to doing this. So I'm very curious about your response.
Yes, actually, I have an amazing support system. I've been married to the same man for 32 years.
Yay.
And he has always supported me, no matter what I decided to do. And actually, I have two beautiful grown daughters that are 24 and 26. And they actually have helped me. I've actually interviewed them. This is kind of funny. I interviewed them to get their perspective on what it was like to be in their early 20s and have their mom go through this. They were both in graduate school. One was in law school, one was in vet school, and they had to deal with mom being sick. So it was an eye-opener for me when I started having this lovely conversation with the two of them. And yes, my dad, believe it or not, my dad lives across the street from me, and he is another big fan of mine. And I have other coaches. We hold each other accountable for the things that we're working on. I belong to a bunch of networking groups, a lot of breast cancer support groups. I mean, I am forever looking to join hands with as many people as I can, because we're all in the same boat, so to speak. Okay, with my breast cancer survivor groups, we're in the same boat. As coaches, we're in that same boat. And then there's family members and friends that are just, they tell me like it is, and that's what I need sometimes too. And believe it or not, I have my own coach.
A lot of coaches have their own coach. Yes, we kind of need, we all need guidance. I think everybody needs a coach for something, for some reason at some point in their life. And sometimes it's multiple coaches.
Exactly.
So what is your favorite thing about your business?
The favorite thing about my business is whether I'm doing one-on-one coaching or I'm in a group setting, because I do group coaching as well. And the look on someone's face when they realize who they are and what they have inside of them, that's been there the whole time, but I just kind of help them bring it out. I love to see like the light bulb go off. And it's quite nice. Like I said, through the coaching, that's how I got named, the inner warrior coach. It's kind of funny. But when you sit and really ask the right questions, it's not about me at that moment. It's about them, the clients, and they just say, wow, what did you just do? What did you like they get so flabbergasted that they're like, how did you do that? And it wasn't really me. It was just really tweaking and asking the right questions for them to realize that they have that inner strength. They have that inner warrior in them.
I love that. That is awesome. So what inspires you? What are you passionate about? And it doesn't have to be business.
What am I passionate about? What inspires me? Believe it or not, it's really being able to fine-tune myself sometimes. And how I do that is by working out, eating healthy. I love listening to live bands and going dancing. I love the wineries, because you need to take time, and it doesn't matter who you are, what you do for a living, what life situation you're going through, you need time to take care of yourself. That self-care is so important and it's not selfish. People think that, taking care of yourself is selfish, but it's not. It's a necessity so that your mind and your soul is well rested so you can help others in no matter what part of your life you're in. And being outdoors is what I'm passionate about, because that actually gives me my creativity to bring back to the table to my clients and my groups and anybody else who's in my life for that matter.
Mm-hmm.
It's so important.
Yes.
So important.
Super important. So who inspires you?
Believe it or not, she is no longer with us on this earth right now, but it is my grandmother. My mother's mother we called Nanny, and she was a businesswoman. And she had her own dress factory back in the day. She made dresses, and she had, 50 people, 75 people working for her back in the day.
Wow.
And she raised her family with my grandfather, and nothing bothered that woman. Like, no matter what happened in her life, she would just take it, figure it out, turn it around if it was a bad situation, make it into a good situation. And she was just one of those people that everybody loved too. They never said a bad word about her.
Mm-hmm.
She taught me a lot in life. She passed away when I was just married, and I'm married 32 years. So it was like 30 years ago that she hasn't been here anymore. But till this day, her picture is on one of my pieces of furniture in my dining room. and a saying my sister wrote. And every morning, and I know this might sound a little crazy to people, but every morning I will go over to that picture and talk to her. You know, I believe in that kind of connection.
Mm-hmm.
I really, truly do. I know some people believe in that and then others do not, and that's fine. But I look at her and I say, I want to be more and more like her each and every day.
That is beautiful. Yay. Yay. So last question, if you could leave one tip or one golden nugget for the people listening, and it was the only thing that you got to say and your only chance to say it, what would that be?
I would say it's very important to find that right strategy for that individual. And when it's implemented correctly, they can embrace that fear. They can accept that fear. They'll learn from that fear. All right. So that because then not only could they survive, it's that they could live and live a fulfilled life. Because just because you have that disease, it does not define you. Don't let the fear and the disease define you, because that's not you. That is not you whatsoever. Okay? It's just something that has happened to you, but we can together, as a wellness warrior for life, you can overcome that fear and be who you truly, authentically want to be, because it's inside of you. It's just bringing it out.
And I love that you help bring that out in people. I love that you do that. That's beautiful. Is there anything else that you would like to share with everybody before we talk about what you're going to give away today?
No, I just truly hope that message really hits home for people. Some people will accept it. Some people will not. They have to be able to know when they're ready. And nobody can tell them different. It's just like when we grieve, there's no set rule to it, so to speak. So when people are ready to face their fear, I'm here to help.
Thank you. That is awesome. So, you are giving away a 30 to 60 minute discovery call for anybody that wants to reach out and wants to talk to you. And that is a free call, and they would go to Wellness Warriors for Life. Warriors as in plural?
Yes.
Right. So go to Wellness Warriors, WELLNESSWARRIORSFORLIFE.com. And there's an opt-in form where you just put in your name and email and then schedule that call.
Yes.
Awesome. So for anybody out there listening, obviously we know 1 in 3 people get cancer, and there's so many people. It's such a scary, probably the scariest time in their life. Please share this video, because people need to, if we can help them go through that, if we can connect them to somebody like Dina and help them go through that to where they're not living in fear, but where they can actually embrace that fear and do that, please share the video. And I would love for as many people as possible to connect with you. And I love what you're doing. I think it's so important. And that is just amazing. Thank you for being here, Dina.
Thank you, Robin. I truly, truly appreciate it. I really do. There's a lot to be said for going through this process. And I want people to realize they are not alone. They are not alone. Yes, your family members are there, your friends are there, but every once in a while, when somebody has gone through it themselves, that's the connection.
Right.
Not a doubt, yeah.
Because if your family hasn't been through it, they don't quite know what you're feeling. And
Right.
they could make it worse. They could make it worse or poo-poo it down where it's not that big of a deal. But if you really, really need to reach out and talk to somebody that's been through that, please share this video or, go to Wellness Warriors for Life and connect with Dina. And we appreciate everybody here. And thank you for spending time with us. And we will see you later.
Okay.
There you go.
So what was that like for you?
Oh my goodness. It was like when we originally did the interview, it's like, am I going to hit points that somebody's going to connect with, or am I going to stumble? And it was also very emotional. I was just like, I was good up until we brought up my grandmother.
And then
And I lost it.
Yeah.
We're going. But I honestly felt that the message that I wanted to portray came out. And I have to thank you for that, because of the questions you have asked, which to me hit every point I honestly feel is true, for women to conquer their fear. And we did it together, you and I.
Yay. Yay. And what you're doing it's such a blessing, and I love that. And I have a friend right now that's going through that whole process, and her spirits seem to be up, but I only see what she's doing on Facebook, and but it's got to be so scary. It's got to be so scary. And then
Actually, if you don't mind me saying, and I don't mind bringing it up, but I actually just went through another surgery.
Oh, you did?
Yes. August 10th, I had to go in to have my implants changed because there was a recall on them because of the type they were. They were recalled because another form of cancer can form with these specific implants. So once again, the fear came up, and it was just like, oh no, do I have any cancer cells anywhere? And I'm happy to report that there are none.
Yay.
But this is the whole journey. It doesn't end, and the fear doesn't end. And that's the point I want to bring to many, many people out there is how do you embrace it? How do you move through it? How do you accept it and be positive at the same time? And you can.
Which is key.
Right.
Trying to be positive when you're scared to death.
Right. Literally.
You're dealing with the total gamut of emotions all in every minute of every day. And so, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So that's just incredible. And, just like on the video, please share this. Let's spread this message, because there's so many people that are going through this, and they need help. They need help from somebody that truly understands what they've been through and all the surgeries. And you look thinner than you did in the other video. Have you lost more weight?
Really focusing on my eating plan, working out, and then the surgery came up. I knew it was coming, but it was supposed to be when COVID hit. So they kept pushing it and pushing it. And they said, when we call you with the date, you just have to come in. So that was only almost 2 weeks ago. So I have been really focusing in on myself. And that's key also to helping and strengthening your immune system and being able to go in for another surgery, or be able to say, all right, I got this again. Because I still have my positive attitude and mindset. Although the fear is still there, you can still be able to get through it.
Great. And if there's any example of the value in coaching, this is it. Well, this is it. Yeah. Oh my gosh, this is so it. And yeah. And when, you know, I've been a coach for a long time, been around a whole bunch of coaches. I never knew there would be anybody that would help somebody go through that process of having cancer. And I can't think of a more valuable service that you're offering. Yay.
Thank you. Thank
Beautiful.
you. That really means a lot to me.
Yeah. And you're a health coach also.
Yeah.
So do you want to go over real quickly how you lost the 110 pounds, or probably more than that now?
Actually, it was eating healthy, watching the sugar intake, okay, and moving, exercise. You know, it took me almost a year to do that. And I still struggle. That fear of gaining weight, especially going through the cancer process, being on steroids, I gained weight. You know, and that was another fear. I'm gaining my weight back. What's going on? You know, but that ended up coming off. And COVID hit, and it was like weight started coming on a little bit, you know. So it's always the fear, and it's always a struggle, but it's learning how to say, okay, something's going on. I need to rein it in a little bit, and I can do this again. And you have to believe in yourself. You have to believe in yourself, and you have to take care of yourself. You come first. That's the end of the story. That's all I got. You come first.
Yeah, if there's no more perfect example of that is when your life is on the line. Right. Okay, the only thing that matters is living. I am important. Let's take care of me. Let's do whatever I can to stay here so I could, you know, enjoy my life and spend time with my family and do the things that I want. Right. Yay. And yeah. So thank you again for working with me on the schedule and coming in early. I for sure wanted both of you ladies to come on so we could be here live and talk to you. And so for everybody out there watching, please, 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 please share the video. Invite people to watch this interview, and reach out to Dina in the Facebook group. And I am going to have her discovery call under the announcements tab, under the giveaway where the guy's swinging his thing, maybe swinging his jacket, I'm pretty sure is what it is. Not his thing. But, and then you can just click on her name, you know, go to the Wellness Warriors for life.com, sign up for that discovery call. And then if you want to reach out, just connect with her, send her a friend request, send her a message, whatever. I love that that is available for all the coaches and all of the people listening, that the coaches are right there in the group, within reaching distance. So awesome. So, all right. Thank you, beautiful.
Thank you so much, Robin. It was an honor. It was a pleasure and an honor to work with you. Absolutely. Yay. So hold on and we'll talk for just a minute. So bye everybody. Thank you. And so this replay, it's going to be going on tomorrow when it's scheduled for. So it'll be 11 in the morning Pacific Standard Time or daylight time. And then we'll do the replay again at 5. And then we'll be back. Oh, let me look at my schedule. So we will be back Monday. So we have 2 more incredible coaches. And so we have Carrie Spring. And so Carrie Spring went through a different journey of loss. Her son committed suicide when he was 17. And so she helps people deal with that situation. And it was a bully situation. And there's a whole huge healing process when you have a traumatic loss like that. And so I really want you to tune in for that. And then Miss Deborah Weed, she is so much fun. I think they're both in Florida. Deborah Weed is awesome. And she used to do these little plays with families and kids, connecting people like that. And she is just such a huge inspiration. And so we have 2 beautiful coaches that are coming on Monday. So make sure that you tune in for that and look out for the post. And that way you can tune in on Monday. So anyways, thank you very much, everybody. And we will see you next time.